When most people hear of Nigeria, the first thing that comes to mind is Lagos or Abuja. Oh well, it's understandable because that's all the media has showed you about Nigeria. But Nigeria is far bigger, richer, and even beautiful than just these two cities. There is a side of this country that the media hardly ever shows. A place filled with culture, history, colors, and stories waiting to be discovered. This place is known as the city under a rock, and in Yoruba called Abeokuta, which means under a rock. It's an ancient city known for its vibrant colors from Adire, numerous cultural foods, and even rocks that hold deep meanings. So, my friend, join me as we explore this city that the media won't show you. Welcome to Abeokuta. Ẹ káàbọ̀.
Adúpẹ́ b'Ẹlẹ́dùmarè, adúpẹ́ f'Ọlọ́run ọba.
Okay, my friends, so we are starting with Olumo Rock. Olumo Rock is an historical rock that has been here since like way back, and I believe that most people who hear of this state called Abeokuta or this city called Abeokuta know of Olumo Rock because that is like the tourist site here in this state. Whenever you hear anybody say, "Oh, I'm going to Abeokuta," you already have it at the back of your mind that they are going to Olumo Rock. So you may be wondering, what is Olumo Rock? Olumo Rock is an ancient rock that is said to have kept people inside for over 3 years. What do I mean? The people of Abeokuta are known as the Egba people, and back in those days, there was serious war and political unrest in the city. And so the people consulted their oracle, and their oracle said they should keep on going further, like they should keep on running, something like that. Because initially, they actually fought with those warriors, but they won at the first instance. But later on, those people overpowered them, so their gods told them to just keep running, and as they go, they're gonna see a rock. They proceeded and found this very big rock, and then they found a space inside the rock, more like under the rock. So now when these people realized that, oh, they can actually hide under the rock, they decided to hide under the rock, and then they consulted their oracles again, and the oracle said yes, this is the particular place they should stay. So they gathered themselves, they built 5 huts under this rock. I wonder how they did it, and I wonder how many people lived under this rock. But a lot of people were there, and you can actually see like footprints and some funny things around that side, which kind of shows that people were actually there. Not footprints per se, but holes where they grinded. They believe that people were grounding us at that time, stuff like that. So it is so common that whenever you hear anybody coming to Abeokuta, you suddenly believe that they are coming to the Olumo Rock, because that is like the historical place in this place. And then I think that because of the rock that these people stayed under, maybe because of the Olumo Rock, that's why they named it Abeokuta, because Olumo Rock is a place where you hide under the rock here, and then Abeokuta means under a rock. So I think that is how they found the name Abeokuta, which means under a rock. Climbing the rock, there are about 400 steps there. So you keep climbing and climbing and climbing till you get there. But then it's kind of easier because there are steps to, make your journey easier. But then to get to a point where you just have to start entering rocks and then doing the Dora the Explorer thing. But then that's the fun of it. There's actually an elevator there, but the elevator is not working, I believe, because when we went there, we didn't use the elevator, but I mean, probably they kept it there so that they're going to, I don't know. I really don't know. But that is it basically. This is the Olumo Rock, and this rock is held by very tiny pillars. It's just amazing because the rock is so big and is kept by very tiny pillars. See people under the rock. This is like where the Olumo thing actually is, and this is where people hid under the rock. About 4 of the huts have broken. They collapsed over time, age and stuff, but just one is still left under this rock, and you can see people going inside and coming out. We kind of missed the clips from this particular place, and it is just so not so nice because I wanted this particular clips, but I believe you get the points here. So now under this rock, okay, I've told you everything under the rock already. Proceeding, there are some women that live, sorry if you can hear my chicken, I'm so sorry, but then there are some women that live inside this environment, and then they are probably called the watchers. They'll pray for you and then you just tip them some money. And this is us trying to climb the Olumo rock. We kept going and going and going and going. Like I was saying, most people only think Abeokuta is about Olumo rock. They don't get to show you the other part of Olumo rock. The media will not tell you about the other sides of Abeokuta. Did I just say Olumo rock? The media will not tell you other parts of Abeokuta. They just want to show you the Olumo Rock and tell you, oh, that is all that there is to it. But in this video, I'm going to be taking you guys on every other interesting thing you can do in Abeokuta other than visiting the Olumo Rock. And by the way, when you're on the Olumo Rock, it feels like you are very, very on top of the world. Yeah. And if you're someone that is very scared of heights, you may want to be very careful around this place because your eyes can trick you. And if you're someone like me that you'll be having that feeling that is telling you jump, 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 if you know your village people, they don't go on break, please and please and please, you have to be very careful when visiting the Olumo Rock, because if your village people are working overtime, I really don't know what to tell you. From the top of the Olumo Rock, you can actually see all of Abeokuta. You see like historical places in Abeokuta, the first mosque, I believe, the first church, there is a water around that area, and then every amazing thing that happens from the top of the rock. That is all they show you about Abeokuta, right? Hold up, let me show you more that there is to Abeokuta that meets your eyes. So here in Abeokuta, there is a very, very big market known as Lafenwa. Lafenwa Market actually has some market days, but I'm not really sure what days are their market days. But on this very day we went there, I mean, the market was so busy, so bubbly, everybody was just up and doing, basically. And for the very first time, I got to eat food from inside a leaf. Now, I heard that the Abeokuta people or the Egba people now, they actually eat, the way people have traditional food here? I think their traditional food is, what's it called now? Ofada rice, which is local rice, and ayamashe sauce, which is a sauce made from just pepper and onions. Is actually so, so nice. If I tell you that this food cost me less than $1, then I'm not lying, because it was just like 600 naira, which is how many cents? Can't really, really tell, but it was that cheap. And then the women were so friendly. Have you ever seen anybody telling you about Lafenwa Market? No. They only show you Olumo and they're, oh yeah, that's all there is to Abeokuta. But then there's a Lafenwa Market where a lot of things are happening. And if you actually want to see what life looks like in a particular place, then I don't see any reasons why you're not visiting the market. You have to visit the market because that is where most of the traditional things are happening. That's where you get to see their local food, the way they interact, the way they do their buying and selling and everything. For this particular food, it was so nice. The woman was so friendly and the food tasted really, really great. The meat really stood out for me. It was 200 naira, which is about, I don't know how many cents it is, but it was so nice and so, so tasty. I'm not even overhyping this food. It was so nice. The women were so nice as well. When you're videoing and people are like, oh, don't video me. Yeah, no, they didn't do that. They were so nice with us, interacting with them and stuff. The next thing I tried in this market that really stood out for me was, is it Owowo? Yeah. Owowo. I've never had Owowo in my entire life. I don't even know there is anything. I never knew there was anything called Owowo. But for the first time in my entire life, I got to taste Owowo in Abeokuta. Now you may be wondering, what is Owowo? Owowo is something, I believe, a local snack that is made from maize and coconut, basically cooked corn and coconut, and then they add sugar. So the way it is being prepared, the woman, as you can see, she adds the sugar first as the base to the nylon, then she adds up the maize and coconut mixture, and then she tops it up with some more sugar. This thing, I honestly don't know. I was when I saw, oh my god, I'm stuttering. But when I saw it, first I'm like, oh, what is this? I was so curious. I really wanted to know what it was, and then I got it. The woman was so nice as well. And I feel like this thing was so cheap because it was quite an amount she gave us. And being my first time trying it, I honestly would tell you it was not bad. I think the sugar really did its thing. It was not too sweet because I initially thought that I didn't want too much sugar in my own. It was so nice. The sugar was just on point. And then I felt like maybe because she made it since morning and she's been hawking it all day, it didn't taste as fresh. but then it was really great. The taste was nice and it was cheap as well. Talk about transportation in this city. Transportation cost is very, very fair. As someone who started creating content from Lagos, Lagos was on the high side. You had to spend a lot of money to survive in Lagos. Whether you were doing a long trip or not, whether you're moving from one junction to the other, you have to spend a lot of money. But right here in Abeokuta, it is so fair. And this Abeokuta is the house to a lot of prominent people. But the one I can remember now is Fela. Fela's family house is in Abeokuta. We passed it some few minutes ago. But then, I mean, this is where Fela was born. His mother and his father lived here. The roads here are very nice. I mean, I believe there are a couple of bad roads, but their major roads are all good. Unlike some places in, I don't know, I've not really thought about it, but then the road is so nice. And then you get to see a lot of local buildings with a touch of modern vibe. It's crazy because they're giving local modern vibe in between, something very, very in between. But then, yeah, transportation is cheap here. Another thing that stood out for me in this city was the fact that they use green mikras. They're called mikras here in Nigeria. They use green mikras, green buses, green cabs for transportation and all. And then it's just one person, I think, that sits in front and three people at the back. I can't really remember how it's been done, but they use green buses here and then cabs actually, and it stood out for me. And then bike is fair. I mean, there is this mux that looks so beautiful. Wondering why I'm dancing. I don't know why the guy gave me so many 200 naira. It's just very unnecessary. Yeah, he could have just given me 500 or 1,000 naira. Those are Nigerian currencies, by the way. But this place you're seeing, I believe you don't get to see a lot of it on the media. This is actually a mosque. We first came here, I think, on Friday, and there was a mock session going on. Guys, I tell you for free, Abeokuta people have money. These people have bastard money. Because when we went there were a lot of big, big exotic cars there. I'm like, eh? So there's money in this city. I'm not about marry somebody in this city like this. I mean, there was a lot of money there. The people came in very big and exotic cars. Watch this video very well. See these two people, the one on white and the other one, they almost hit each other. Why? Because they were watching people that were creating content. Funny, right? I mean, that's just my highlight. But yeah, this is a mosque, and I think it is one of the oldest mosques in Nigeria, if I am correct, and maybe the first mosque in Abeokuta. The mosque is so beautiful. It looks like the Cathedral Church in Lagos, Nigeria. Although the Cathedral Church in Lagos, Nigeria is very polished, very fine and all. But this is giving ancient, rich vibe, like old money. You know what they call old money now. This is giving old money vibe. We went from this mosque and I took a walk around the city. Oh my God. Celine Dion, call me Celine Dion. Okay, I took a walk around the city and then, okay, well. I mean, this place was not bad. The sunset was just chill. Another thing that stood out for me as somebody that does not live in the western part of Nigeria, someone who stays in Kaduna, which is the northern part of this country, I got to see a lot of rocks. This place has numerous rocks. Like everywhere is hilly. There's one rock here and there's another rock here. You see people building houses on rocks. You see a lot of things just happening on rocks. I believe that this entire landscape is made of rocks. This market is called Abeokuta Market, and this is where a lot of things are happening. You're wondering what the a lot of things I mean happens here, right? I'm going to tell you. So this place is where they do a lot of traditional tie and dye. They have a lot of wells here. I kind of deleted the videos, I'm sorry. But yeah, they have wells where they do tie and dye, and then they export it to different countries, to different states. They sell it to different people. Remember something I said about the Egba people, and the Abeokuta consists of people from the Egba land. This is something that just represents them so well. These people are Egba people, and I believe they have their own language. Obviously, the green pass I told you about, this is one of it. And then look at these beautiful sunsets, so nice. Another walk around the city. Call me Celine Dion. Okay, this is another walk around the city, and I think from here to the end of this video is just you seeing beautiful places from Abeokuta. I really don't know the names of these areas, but then another thing that stood out for me is the fact that this city is not so overpopulated, and then they watch out for each other. So yes, my friend, my teammate, thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. Thank you for staying with me till the end. Okay, I've thanked you before. But yeah, for seeing a side of Abeokuta that the media never shows you. Abeokuta is not just about Olumo Rock, but there is more to Abeokuta that meets your eyes. And I cannot really conclude my Abeokuta tour without giving credit to the guy that really helped me on this journey. His name is Fatu Ayinde. He's a YouTuber as well. You should check him out on YouTube. You should check him out on social media. He was the one that helped me all through my tour in Abeokuta. He's from Abeokuta as well. He really helped me so much, and I'm so grateful to Fatu. He really helped me. Okay, I've said that before. But then, yeah, if you look to visiting Abeokuta anytime soon, Fatu is the guy for you. I said that.
Guys, we're done like with Abeokuta, and Fatih has been so helpful like from the beginning of the Lagos content till here in Abeokuta.
Shebi, I've had me say it. You're wondering what Shebi is. Shebi is just Shebi. But then, are you not going to subscribe? Like, what are you waiting for? Do you want me to press your neck? Come on, my friend, click on the subscribe button, Jerry, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, bye.